For a lot of fans, the flashbacks to the days before the Uchiha massacre, which first occurred during Sasuke's first Valley of the End fight with Naruto, were a real treat. We got to see firsthand the events leading up to the Uchiha massacre, and also catch a glimpse into who Itachi was before he suddenly massacred the clan. One thing that really stood out was the silent Cold War brewing between Fugaku and Itachi Uchiha. The tension between father and son was so bad that even a young Sasuke had to worry about the matter. However, Fugaku's cold stance towards Itachi runs deeper than his growing fear that Itachi would one day betray the clan. Instead, it goes all the way back to Itachi's childhood, where Fugaku openly discussed his greatest fear about his oldest son Itachi. In today's video for Naruto Explained, I will take you back to a time when Itachi was just a 5-year-old boy, deemed a prodigy, and Fugaku expressed his concern about Itachi. In the first Itachi novel, Daylight, after Itachi brings home a report card which had perfect marks all across the board, Fugaku speaks with his wife about a troubling pattern that he's noticed in his son Itachi. While all of this is going on, Itachi is laying in bed with Sasuke fast asleep next to him and listening very closely to the conversation of his parents. With the scene finally set, I'll begin reading the selected passage and come back to you with my analysis, and it's here that I begin to quote. "Does Itachi have any friends?" Fugaku asked. "He doesn't really talk about his friends. My son doesn't know how to take it easy. That isn't such a bad thing. But sometimes he goes too far. It's like he's rushing, like he's hurrying to become a fully fledged ninja." "Father sees right through me," Itachi thought. The slightest heat colored his face. "The way he's so earnest about being a ninja. Sometimes I feel like I should take lessons away from him. I'm his father. But a thread stretched too tight eventually becomes fragile. I'm worried he needs to let loose somehow. It would be nice if Itachi had friends his own age who he could talk to. He needs to learn at least a little bit of what fun is before he eventually grows up," Fugaku said. End quote. Now this says a lot about how Fugaku saw Itachi. It is very safe to assume that during the period where he and Itachi had tensions running very high around the Uchiha compound, right after the death of Shisui, that this moment came back to Fugaku and might have been the reason why Fugaku was so displaced against Itachi. The reason being is that Fugaku placed a lot of pressure on Itachi to do well, to continue to exceed expectations, and then move through the ranks of the village so he could fulfill his role in the Uchiha's planned rebellion. It's during this scene right here where he talks to his wife that Fugaku is worried that his 5-year-old son isn't experiencing childhood. Now this might not seem like a big deal. After all, it hadn't been that long ago when kids like Itachi were being pulled from the academy to go fight in a war. However, I think it says a lot about Fugaku as a parent that he wanted his child to experience childhood in the correct way. During this time of peace, he was worried that Itachi was being stretched too thin with the pressures of being the firstborn son and heir to the Uchiha clan, as well as Itachi's own desire to become a ninja. What's really interesting is that during this time, Shisui also tried to get Itachi to socialize more with his classmates, and right after hearing his father's worries, Itachi's first thoughts went to Izumi Uchiha, the young girl who eventually pushed her way into his life, even though he did his best to keep her away. So it goes to show that Fugaku's worries weren't without cause, because more than one person had noticed this change inside of Itachi. So what did you guys think? Did Fugaku's worries seem a little too much to you all, or did you consider his worries to be justified? That's it for my video today. If you like anything I had to say, make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching. Have an awesome day, guys.